Hey, welcome to Business 150, Introduction to Management. And in this very first video of our very first module, we're going to be looking at, well, the very important introductory question: what is management? Why should we care? Why is this something worth embarking on a journey together in this course this semester? We're going to try to give you a good introduction to the topic and provide a context for you to understand everything in this module and everything in this course to help you get a better understanding of management and what this means to you, what this means to your career, what this means possibly to the rest of your life as you'll continue to work and build a vocation, build a course in your life, and perhaps for many of you, aspiring to positions of management and leadership in the roles you'll hold in your career. So as you can see here in this very first title slide, the question we're asking: what is management? And after this video, you should be able to describe the nature of organizations and why organizations is really the starting point of our discussion on management, as well as you should be able to describe why organizations need management. What are those kinds of recurring challenges that all organizations face that require great management? That's what you should be able to do at the end of this video. We'll circle the wagons as we finish up. Now, the first thing I want you to consider then, as you can see from this slide in front of you, I've given you two stock photos of friends meeting together. Anytime you get a bunch of friends together, for instance on a Friday after work or on a weekend, well, you can see they're enjoying each other's company, they're having a good time. And imagine you and your friends getting together and deciding, well, as you can see here in the picture, after maybe some snacks, maybe a beer or two, your friends begin to ask each other, hey, what do you want to do after we finish up here? Well, I think we want to eat dinner. I'm hungry. What do we have for dinner tonight? Hey, let's go get pizza. I don't like pizza. I'm gluten intolerant. Is that really a thing? Well, it sure seems like it every time I have pizza. You get the point, right? By the time you finish up with dinner and decide to try and plan on a movie, getting all of your friends to agree upon, for instance, the same place to eat, the type of food you want, what time to get together, where you want to go to see a movie, what kind of a movie, what are you going to do for the rest of the evening? Well, that can be confusing and it can be frustrating. It can be difficult to get a consensus. In fact, it can be difficult to move forward together as a group. Now, this is true simply because of human nature and the way human nature has preferences and the way every human being has a different perspective on what they would like and how to accomplish those kinds of things. When you get more than two people together, it can be pretty complex and pretty chaotic. So imagine that rather than just a bunch of friends getting together to figure out what to do on a weekend evening, it's an organization with actual goals and purposes. If you just gather people together in a big building, how will you ever get forward movement together? So when we talk about management, the first thing we're talking about is organizations. What's an organization? An organization, we can define it today as a group of people working together in a structured and coordinated fashion to achieve a set of goals. You can see the definition there on your screen. And let me say right now, even as you're looking at this definition, organization can include a lot of different types of groups of people, right? We can be talking, for instance, about a bowling team. A bowling team's a group of people working together in a structured, coordinated fashion to achieve a set of goals. Whether that set of goals is simply to have fun for the evening or perhaps more formally to win a trophy in a bowling league. An organization could also be a nonprofit organization like a charity or a church or a temple. That's a group of people working together in a structured, coordinated fashion to achieve a set of goals. And I would tell you, for the sake of this class, this is obviously a business class. So when we talk about organizations, we are primarily talking about for-profit companies. Now that can be very small companies, can be very, very large multinational corporations. But in this class, when we talk about management, we are primarily talking about the management of for-profit private sector organizations. Now, of course, a lot of what we talk about will have principles and concepts that transfer over, well, to all sorts of organizations, right? Governmental organizations, national government, nonprofits, all those kinds of things. But just at the outset, I want you to know this is primarily a business class talking about business management. Now, as we look at this definition of an organization, working together in a structured, coordinated fashion to achieve a set of goals, this definition itself suggests why management becomes necessary. So let's look very closely at this definition. A group of people working together. Now, as you can see there, these two photos on the left looks like some folks in the medical profession, some folks on the right in some sort of a computer-driven business organization. But both of these organizations require employees to work together. Now, this can be a very difficult thing, right? You ever get that kind of person, maybe at your work, the person who it's difficult to be friends with? They always see things from a different perspective than you do. They always have a different opinion on things than you do. They think differently, and that can make it difficult for people to work together. For some folks, left to their own devices, they'll never work together well. And this is one reason why we need management to help set everybody on the same page. What else is in this definition of an organization that suggests why we need management? Well, people need to work together in a structured and coordinated way. And here, of course, you see the coordination and interaction of different physicians in a surgical operating room. And the reason why this kind of a delicate, intensive procedure works is because everyone in that operating theater knows their role, they know the procedure, they're very highly trained and experienced, they know what they're doing, and more importantly, they know what the job of the other person is in the room as well. And so there is structure, there is the ability to coordinate efforts. All of these things require good management. And finally, organizations seek to achieve organizational goals, whatever those goals might be. What if the goal is to capture 13% more market share in the next calendar year in your industry? Or to release 3 new products that will have these functions and these capabilities? Or simply, if you're, for instance, the Toyota Motor Company, to manufacture 5,000 Toyota Priuses in perfect shape according to schedule. Those kinds of things don't happen by accident. Those kinds of things don't happen without prior planning and proper decision making and allocation of resources and great human resource leadership and strategy and control of the processes. You understand where I'm going with this. In order to accomplish organizational goals in a structured and coordinated fashion with people working together, you need management. So, having made the case for the need for management, how shall we think about management in this class? Well, as you can see from this slide in front of you, we'll define management in this class as the activities designed to achieve an organization's objectives by using its resources effectively and efficiently in a changing environment. Now, let's talk about that. Management is primarily a set of activities. It is about doing and accomplishing and executing certain activities. We'll talk about in more specificity in another lecture what those activities are and how they categorize themselves. But those activities, that execution, is about leveraging resources that an organization has control of or owns or can acquire. And by using those resources, both in an effective manner and in an efficient manner, with a mind to the fact that the environment in which any organization exists is always changing, that is the role of wise management, to use the resources at the organization's disposal effectively and efficiently, and we'll define what those are as well in another lecture, in a dynamic, changing, transforming environment where nothing stays the same, and yet to still achieve organizational objectives. Organizations need management in order to provide structure, in order for people to coordinate and amplify their efforts together, in order to deliver the same results every single time. Imagine if one time that you go to McDonald's, rather than your order of French fries, what you got was that red cardboard container with an entire whole cold potato sitting in it. You wouldn't be very happy. You need to be able to deliver repeatable results. And those results have to scale. What does that mean? Well, it's one thing to deliver a little carton of French fries when you only get 10 customers a day. What happens when the business grows and scales to now you have 100 customers an hour? Will you still be able to produce the same golden brown French fries when you have that big of a scale? We will argue in this class that in the best of all worlds, organizations exist in business to not only earn a profit, but also to accomplish good in the world. And that does not happen without great management. It takes great management to instill the unity and vision of where the company is going so everyone moves together in the same direction with the same idea of what it means for this company to be successful. Management is important to maintain and to grow long-term organizational health. And that can mean several things, by the way. It doesn't necessarily simply mean that we're earning more and more revenue or getting more profit year on year. It can mean also that the people who work in that organization feel good about the job they do. They have a sense of purpose and satisfaction and happiness and engagement and participation to accomplish something larger than themselves. And of course, there at the bottom, management is required for a company to grow well, to grow in an appropriate speed, in the right ways, in order to maintain long-term growth and health. All of these are reasons why organizations need great management. And so we ask you then, as we asked at the very beginning of this video, can you now describe the nature of organizations? Can you describe why organizations need management? Personally, I will tell you that management is one of the most exciting, as I said it, exciting opportunities for you in your business career. And I'll tell you right at the outset, as I say that, I understand that some of you are listening to this video and you're saying, wait a minute, the most exciting? I don't really think so. Because your experience with management, let's be honest, for many of you early on in your career, it hasn't been great. Maybe you've had that manager who's always busting your chops for showing up 5 minutes late or double checking to make sure that you followed the rules that were printed in the handbook or those kinds of things, right? And so for many of us, especially early in our careers, we think of managers as that annoying, pesky, necessary evil, the person who you have to deal with, but you don't really enjoy it. And quite frankly, why would anyone want to be a manager? And I would tell you, there's a lot of folks who think of management that way. I would suggest to you, as we kick off this course together, management doesn't have to be that way. Management is indeed one of the greatest opportunities in your business career, approached correctly. And that's what we'll try to show you in this module, as well as this entire course this term. Welcome to Business 150, Introduction to Management. We'll see you in the next video.